Well, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another one of my weird random live streams, and this is a bit of a different. This is a different thing that. This is kind of a different type of stream. In fact, let me just turn this down a bit. Um, yeah, so this is a bit of a different type of stream to be doing, because as you can see, I am. It's code. It's a block of text, and maybe. I mean, if you know anything about Python, you're probably like, why is there all this here? Well, because this is a bit of a first for the channel, bit of a devlog kind of thing. So, one thing that you might, if you've been kind of watching the channel, you might know that I do have a bit of a, I have been kind of involved in the whole competitive robotics scene a little bit. I've been on a Vex comp, and currently I'm on a team that's kind of a small. I'm kind of doing some small work with FRC stuff, because that season's happening right now. But during my time working in the world of Vex, I decided that I would come up with a simulator because yeah. So what this is literally the latest Vex game as it is, and it was kind of put into and what I did is I ran it into Pygame, and I created a little emulator program so you could just do, well, this way you can run a bit of an emulator on it. So what I did is I just created this, and yeah, there we go. So what this is that, well, it's a simple Vex emulator. Because, well, there's not very much in the way of that. Well, there is, and in fact, it's kind of one of the things I found to be kind of pointless, which is the fact that a lot of the Vex comps, it's like the only simulator they've got is the thing for their Scratch, and even their Python kind of style programming language has it, but it's basically designed around Scratch, their current simulator, and it's really designed for teaching the whole world of robotics in classrooms, like POE courses. I've messed with it, and It's not half bad, really. But anything past that point, pretty typical. So what I did is I was like, since my team uses, we use the their VS Code based, whatever the hell they use, their actual Vex Code Pro system to write our code, but that does not have such a system involved in it. And one of the things I wanted to try out, well, as evidenced by this little thing, this button up here that's unprogrammed right now, is I want to try and do the Auton period, but have the programming be suggested by machine learning, namely TensorFlow in this regard. If you don't know TensorFlow, it's a library that in Python that lets you, and I think even C++ for that matter, that lets you do machine learning, and you give it your inputs, you give it your outputs, and we've got a ripe amount of inputs and ripe amount of handful of outputs, nothing too troublesome to train an AI on, and we can just make simple AI. And yes, I am pretty well aware that these disks aren't in the right place, and that's something I aim to kind of fix in the next while. And yes, I did kind of get all these assets from the manual, but yeah. But anyways, so yeah, so my plan is to kind of run TensorFlow in here and kind of just have a little fun little experiment for me to kind of learn the ropes of AI, because that would be a pretty fun little experiment. But also because my little team that I've been working with, they were like, that would be a very not bad idea. So we're gonna do that. So yeah. So what's funny though is that I started on this last Friday. Now, granted, and in fact, this is kind of where I have to make this partially an apology video. It does have a bit of code base from Visual Heist in it, which, if you don't know, is a game that I actually had a bit of a hand in developing, and I did kind of make use of it, and I apologize for this being a bit of a tangent-like video, but yeah, But yeah, there's quite a few things that were taken out of Visualize and all that. So, Sean, if you're watching this, even in the future, I apologize. It's for a good cause, even if it's open source. And yeah. But anyways, so that's all. So that's mostly what's been going on around here, and I've spent about a good week on this, and it's not half bad for a piece of code. Um, so yeah, so currently I am running this off of a Pro controller, but you can move around things and all that, and kind of want to talk about some of the features. Um, as you can see, there's a window system that gives performance and positioning. This is kind of in there by default, because got to talk about frame rates. Got to put frame rates in there somehow. And this is a new feature that I just implemented, movement scale, because um, originally how I programmed this was that, in fact, it kind of is. Movements were tied to the frame rates, so if you zoom in, the frame rates drop considerably for some reason. Probably because there's so much scaling that has to go on. So the robot is kind of, our little representation of a robot is moving around a little bit slow, but this will allow the robot, if you're looking up at the right top left corner here of the screen, you'd realize that now the bot's running the same speed. In fact, I had to originally have a frame limit on it, but so that's what this is for. It's pretty interesting how I wrote all this all in 1 week, and I wasn't really challenging myself and all that. It's just a week. So yeah, and then there's our CPU usage just going crazy and all that. But yeah, it's a very fun little experiment that I wanted to run, and I know it's not the most YouTube-worthy thing. Oh, and in chat, hey Braden, welcome to this weird live stream of whatever the hell this is. So yeah, so how goes it? So here we go. Here's all of the. So yeah, there it is. So yeah, this code is actually also freely available. Let me pop it up. Had it in a tab somewhere. Yeah, I put it up here and on GitHub because it's like, this would kind of be useful for other teams, and I should really put more behind it. I should put more code behind that. So yeah. All right. So yeah, there we go. So yeah. So that's mostly all this really has as of now. I'm yet to put collision physics in here yet, because, this is supposed to have collision physics, these little bumper things, and this, well, we shouldn't be able to go out the field, but I can, but that can happen. Because I gotta program that. These are the high goals for those who don't deal with the Vex stuff. They're usually floating off the ground. That this is going to be more of a thing for the physics engine, as it is. Physics engine is probably going to be one of the easier things to program. It's really just implementing some math that I kind of known for a while now. So yeah, and in the future, I'm planning on having a recording feature, which I've put as a menu option up here. It's mostly there because it's like, oh, that would be cool, because another idea we had for our AI is literally we feed recordings of actual playthroughs, let's just say I'm doing a bit of driver practice. Oh, time to shoot a disc. Boom. And then you keep doing your driver practicey thing, whatever the hell that may be, and then you just record it, and an AI will probably look over it. And I might have a thing in future where there will be like a menu, and this little window system will have like a extra window where you can just play through the animation and you can watch it animate. And yeah. And this is absolutely one of my favorite parts that I should probably mention. This window system. Now, what I did this mostly because we're gonna have AI and all that, and kind of want to have a debug menu, and I quite like UIs that look like this level of vintage. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go that route, and you know what? And yeah, there's also a timer that kind of simulates how Vex normally works, and yeah. So this is mostly it for this little bit of thing. Um, might do a bit more talking and maybe do a bit of actual code work. Um, because there we go. Now we're in Drive, and you do the thing, and all that. So yeah, pretty fun how this all works, and how I was able to get this to be done as quickly as I could. And that's kind of why I'm kind of doing a video about it, because I don't even know how I was able to get it done in a week, like that, and not feel terrible about it. But yeah, it's definitely a project that I'm going to flesh out way more, and I'm going to really work on a bit more. Um, next bug to iron out is why it does all that, but I think that's going to be as simple as removing corners, or why the square kind of raises and looks odd. But from what I've read, it's more of a Pygame thing. But anyways, so that kind of concludes this little 12-minute rant slash random live stream slash very, very weird thing that I don't even know why I did, but why I did it, and why it's so chaotic. This wasn't scripted. This was a bit of a random thing, which is kind of a good descriptor of all my videos at this point. So yeah. So yeah. If you like what you saw, well, there is a like button. It exists. If you want to support the channel, well, there is a subscribe button. Hey, you know, there's probably not going to be too many more videos of this nature, I'll say, but there will be some. But there will be some things about other things, like actual gaming, not just random, stupid, weird code projects that have no value to anyone who does not deal with tournaments. And hey, maybe if you would like to actually try it out and all that, it's there. It's open source, and if you would like to contribute, it's not completely ready for contribution yet, but yeah, it will. And yeah. So yeah. So again, thanks for watching, and